A high-level meeting at the White House today. Cabinet secretaries, key senators, and others will talk about the energy bill. A worldwide deforestation deal can happen this year. We'll tell you which nation with a lot at stake is showing optimism. And Walmart settles with environmental groups over its greenhouse gas emissions.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
Good morning, I'm Susan McGinnis. Thanks for joining us for the Energy Report on this 9th day of March 2010. The president is set for a high-level meeting on energy today. President Obama will talk this afternoon with Senators Kerry, Lieberman, and Graham, co-authors of the soon-to-be-released bipartisan climate bill, and other members of the administration and Congress. The Hill newspaper says this meeting is meant to bring together the chairman and ranking members of top Senate committees on energy and climate issues with senators who have reservations over cap-and-trade legislation. Also among the attendees, Energy Secretary Stephen Chu, also scheduled to deliver a morning address at CERA Week in Houston this morning. EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, Interior Secretary Ken Salazar, Senators Jeff Bingaman, Barbara Boxer, Lisa Murkowski, and Jay Rockefeller, among others. And the Obama administration says it will not change the way it hands out clean energy grants from the Recovery Act, despite complaints that about 80% of those funds are going to foreign companies.
And all we want with the stimulus bill is for the money to be spent here.
Senator Charles Schumer is one of 4 Democratic senators proposing a new Buy American clause into the stimulus plan, insisting that eligible clean energy projects utilize only components made in the U.S. But the wind industry says that is simply not possible right now, since foreign-owned wind companies play such a big role in the global wind development market.
We've grown so dramatically in U.S. wind manufacturing that we really are a global world leader. We could be the global wind leader in manufacturing if we have more stability. Our problem has been the up and down policies. And the investors in manufacturing facilities here in the U.S. are a little bit gun shy when they see the policies come and go year to year.
And Clean Skies' Tyler Suiters explains why Graham answers some of the critics by saying the wind industry is guilty as charged. Our full report is right here at cleanskies.com. Indonesian climate negotiators have high hopes for a key part of a new world climate treaty being finalized this year. Many hope, at least. They say developed and developing nations should be able to seal a deal on deforestation this year. One negotiator says Copenhagen did lead to a deal on deforestation, but without details. 6 nations pledged $3.5 billion to help developing countries fight deforestation. An Indonesian forestry ministry official says he hopes a system will be finalized by the Cancun summit in December. There are talks this week in Washington to flesh out a plan. Indonesia is the world's 3rd largest carbon emitter after the U.S. and China, thanks largely to deforestation. Israel is talking about developing nuclear power. National Infrastructure Minister Uzi Landau plans to announce Israel's interest today at an international nuclear conference that's happening in Paris. No specific plans have been drawn up yet, but the idea has been floating around since 2007, when the infrastructure minister proposed a plant in Israel's southern Negev desert. Israeli officials have refused to comment on whether the country already has nuclear weapons. And Walmart has reached lawsuit settlements with environmental groups over its greenhouse gas emissions. The Center for Biological Diversity and the Coalition for Environmental Integrity claimed environmental reviews for some California stores did not adequately consider measures the company could and should take to cut its greenhouse gas pollution resulting from store expansions. As part of the deal, Walmart will be able to expand 3 California stores, but will have to install rooftop solar facilities and use energy-efficient designs and equipment. The company also agreed to take a closer look at its refrigeration systems at those stores and overhaul them if necessary. A 2006 California law calls for the state to cut greenhouse gas emissions 30% by the year 2020, with new rules scheduled to start in 2012. Demand for ethanol is likely to increase 20% this year. It's according to analysts polled by Bloomberg. Falling corn prices and record ethanol supplies had driven the price down 17% in 3 months to $1.63 a gallon. Prices had fallen 61% from their mid-2006 record. But demand is rebounding because ethanol is nearly 66 cents cheaper than gasoline. It's good news for ethanol refiners after 3 of the biggest producers sought bankruptcy protection. Potential gains have prompted Valero and Sunoco and Murphy to buy up failed distilleries from Northeast and AS Alliance's biofuels. Well, it is Oil Day at CERAWeek 2010. That's the energy conference in Houston. Today kicks off with words from IHS CERA Chairman Daniel Yergin, followed by an opening keynote from Saudi Aramco CEO Khalid Al-Falih. After that, Energy Secretary Stephen Chu gives his address. His appearance has been moved up earlier, presumably so he can make that energy meeting with the president late this afternoon. Also today in Houston, a plenary session on global oil featuring executives from BP and elsewhere. Other topics, what's next for biofuels, China oil demand, where is it going? Also a luncheon keynote from Jim Mulva of ConocoPhillips, and a lot more. We have a team on the ground in Houston at CERAWeek. Check the website here for interviews and reports from Margaret Ryan throughout the week. Here's a check now of other goings-on happening around the Beltway today in energy. 9:30 a.m. The Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on the Interior, Environment, and Related Agencies has a hearing to discuss the Interior Department's 2011 budget in Dirksen. At 10, Senate ENR has a full committee hearing on financial transmission rights and other electricity market mechanisms. That's in Dirksen. Clean Skies News will be there. 2 p.m. this afternoon in Russell, Working Group for Investment in Reliable and Economic Electric Systems, or WIRES, sponsors a seminar on reforming electric transmission cost allocation. Clean Skies News will be there. That's the Energy Report. Thanks for joining us here in the Energy News Center. For any suggestions or comments about our programming here on Clean Skies News, you can find us at contact@cleanskies.com. And a reminder, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook too. I'm Susan McGinnis. You're watching Clean Skies News.